Yo, it's Real 92.3, man. Bootleg Cab, DJ Head. We
West
got a
Coast.
motherfucking legend in here, man.
Motherfucking legend.
Too short.
What up, though?
Hey, man, you're the only rapper my dad fucks with, bro.
That's kind of some of the stuff I
that's
hear.
flattering or racist.
No,
I mean,
I'm just fucking with you.
I get that a lot though. You my mama's favorite rapper, daddy's favorite rapper. I get that a lot. It's been that long, man.
No, like, keep it a buck, man. When I was like 8, 9 years old, like, you're like one of the first like 2 or 3 rappers that like got me into hip hop, man.
I got a lot of fans
that Getting It album really was
was
big for
elementary
me,
school. Huh?
Of course, man. Of course. And then obviously you go back and Life is Too Short. Cuss words was one, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cuss words, bro. Come on, man. Blowjob Betty, bro. Come on, man. Listen.
It's all very educational.
So I gotta know who the fuck inspired Blowjob Betty. That's something I've been wanting to ask for a very long time.
Well, I always dip off into the storytelling, and it's just one of my life's experiences that I over exaggerated in a song. Just
Bust the nut and killed the bitch.
I used to write rhymes, and I used to think like, what's the most outlandish thing I could say? Like, what? Not just shock, but just like, what is the playerist, pimpinest thing? Like, what's the coldest shit that you could just say right now, one line, and then we work around that. So
that's where you start.
That was the start of that song. The last line was the beginning.
The last line was the beginning. Great story. Yeah, obviously, like, I feel like you don't get enough props as an MC because, like, your storytelling between, like, Cocktails and obviously Blowjob Betty, I feel like your storytelling has always been top notch.
Well, it's one of those cases where there's some genius in the simplicity, and I've argued with many people in the studio about too many sounds, too many words, too much noise.
Yeah,
like.
Chains is kind of like the new age. I feel like Chains says the flyest shit in the flyest way, kind of like how you did in your day. You know what I'm saying?
He's a punchline spitter, and really it's always like he puts himself in the coldest player position in all his rhymes. So I come from that same angle. You never hear us doing a lot of tricking on the song, but I
minimal.
I stay trick free.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like
in life and in the songs.
So, you have like these 2 branches of your career where, you were like, the Born to Max shit and the Getting It shit, all the player shit. Then I remember when the album, when you came back from retirement, you just can't stay away. I remember buying that shit from the warehouse, man. But then there's the hyphy section where you had Blow the Whistle and, all the more up-tempo club records. And I feel like you have like a whole nother set of fans that don't know about all the other shit. Now, the Pimp Tape, are we getting back to the player shit?
Well, it's a mixture, man. It's really there's no way that I could make an album right now and I just mimic the sounds of now. You know what I mean? I can't just try to be a carbon copy of what's now. So I like good music, man, and I was very conscious on keeping it, classic Too Short, but then it can't sound dated. It can't sound like I made a 1990s album.
Of course.
There's a good balance in there. I work with some dope producers. I actually have in-house producers that are very dope. So,
yeah.
And me myself, I'm extremely hands-on. So I if I ever get too far away from what Too Short is, I just go back and listen to a bunch of songs when I'm on the highway or something, and it comes back to me.
I mean, obviously, back in the day, you and Ant Bakes had a great thing going. Any Ant Bates production?
I didn't get Banks on the album, but I did meet up with Banks not too long ago.
That's
and
crazy.
He came by the studio and he's like, "Let's start working again."
I got to do a Players Holiday 2018, man.
So I asked him the one thing I had been waiting to ask him. I know you got a bunch of beats. He was like, I do. So I want to hear the Ant Banks 2018 beats.
That'd be crazy, man. That'd be crazy. Who else on the album?
Features. Let's see here. I got T.I. and E-40 on a song. I got 2 Chainz and Snoop Dogg on another song. I got Jeremiah. French Montana, Ty Dolla.
Oh, you bringing them out.
And Jordan Lucas all on the same song.
Jordan Lucas?
On the same song.
Then I got another. Jordan's on the album twice. How that happened, I don't know, but
That's
he
great.
made it twice. He's on another song, Me, Him, and Schoolboy Q. So
lyrically, he might be the best guy rapping right now, I think. When it comes to technically, like, where he can go, like, he can do a whole album with Chris Brown and then go on, and then go bar for bar with Eminem. I don't think a lot of people can do that.
He got like 3 or 4 gears he shifts on his flow. Like, the speed wise, like, he got different little flows. So I'm feeling the originality of his. He got a little Eminem in him too, though, a little bit, but he still spit. Now, he spit lines.
In the '90s, you were one of the only West Coast artists that was widely respected on the East Coast. You was on, back-to-back Hove albums. It was all good just a week ago. It was my shit. And then obviously you were on fucking Life After Death. Which,
two Biggie albums.
You were on 2 Biggie albums. That's right. But Life After Death is one of my favorite albums ever. Talk about, I guess, working with each one of those guys. and kind of what you took, you know, from each one of those guys, you know.
Well, you know, during that time period, I lived in Atlanta when it was supposed to be East Coast, West Coast, and right before it got violent per se, it was or before it was perceived as some kind of war. There was a thing they did in Atlanta because there was a lot of colleges out there, and they would do this. It's Cali in the house, New York in the house, and they play certain songs, and the West Coast would get hype, and the East Coast get hype, and then they get back to the down south, whatever. It was like a real fun regional thing. And when that beef started, it took, in the world that I was in, it was a beef between Bad Boy and Death Row. It was not East Coast, West Coast. And Atlanta kind of moved on with its vibe. Like, you had a lot of East Coast and West Coast cats used to hang out together, you know, in Atlanta. And I just happened to be friends with all of the people at Bad Boy, Lil C's, Biggie, Puff. They was all homies. At the same time, I was homies with Snoop, Pop, Suge, and all them. And it's like, I just, being from Oakland, living in Atlanta, I kind of just didn't jump in. People were like, pick sides like it's Crips and Bloods. But, you know, at that time, I would be like in the studio with Biggie. He might mention a little something about Tupac and Snoop and all them. He was just say stuff like, man, tell them dudes, man, I ain't tripping, man. It's, you know, like whatever. And then kind of, you know, it wasn't really. It was, when you really boil down to it, really boil down to it. It was really a Pac, Suge, and Puff. It wasn't even like everybody.
I feel like Biggie was not the aggressor ever. Like,
he wasn't really like on that vibe, man. So at the same time, I think they all used to be friends. So it was something there, you know. So I'd get in the studio and just kind of like, you know, I would be trying to play a little mediator a little bit, you know, like not trying to fuel the fire or anything, and just kick it, like represent my area.
You ever try to get them like on the phone or like?
No, I'm not that kind of dude.
Yeah,
I ain't
mind your business.
I ain't squashing beefs, but I knew the intent. I knew you know, how Suge and Pac felt, especially Pac, because he felt like they did something to him. He really felt that way. You couldn't
tell him that they didn't.
Yeah,
get that.
And then if you probably did tell him that, he wouldn't be friends with you no more. Like, it was like, you with me or you with them kind of
Now back
thing.
then, like when you were doing these records, like when you did like It's All Good just a week ago with Hove on Volume 2, is that something where you guys are in the studio together? Because obviously nowadays it's some MP3 back and forth email shit. Were you guys in together when you guys recorded that?
Yeah, I did a song with Jay-Z, Real Niggas Do Real Things.
Yep. I
didn't do the studio session with him on that one, but a week ago we were in the same session.
What was that session like?
It was a lot of stuff going on that day. I remember I remember a guy freestyling at the session, you know, getting his little chance to debut for Jay-Z. And later on, I didn't know this story at the moment, but later on, they was like, yeah, that was Benny Siegel. Like, the
damn.
Day, like, that day we were doing that song is the day that he got his chance to spit.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I remember, all the reason why I really remember is because there was a lot of people in the studio, and we stopped everything we were doing to give this cat his spit. Like some dudes came in. You know how studio session get kind of crowded?
Yep.
And he just spit, like, no beat. And everybody in the room was like, oh, shit. So I heard he got a deal from that.
That was Beans?
That was him. Like,
that's crazy.
The day he popped in on Jay-Z, so, you know.
Now, at the time, like, Jay, like, wasn't like Jay now. Like, we don't, like, you know, at the time he was up and I mean, obviously Volume 2 was huge, but at that time
he always moved a certain way, though.
But that's what I'm curious, like, you know, nowadays if you go into a studio session with Jay, you're going to be a little intimidated. Like, were you intimidated? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when writing your verse, like, damn, I got to keep up with Hove.
Oh, a week ago he told me what to say. Like, he wrote that. I'm just like doing part of the hook.
Right.
So I came in, it was like just add water. For some reason he wanted my voice on that part, so I did it. But yeah, when you get in sessions with a Biggie and he goes in the booth before you, and like we did that A World Is Filled with Pimps and Hoes.
Yes.
When we did that, The World Is Filled, we got to the session, Biggie's verse was open and my verse was open. Puffy had already recorded his verse and the hook was already on there. So Puff was the one who like initiated. He played it. He wanted everybody to hear his verse. You know, he got the first verse, and he wanted everybody to hear. And at that time, Puff was not really perceived as a rapper.
As a rapper at that time,
he did a bunch of
not.
ad libs,
right?
And he was like in the video, you know,
right.
And I think he spit a little bit on Big's first album, but it wasn't a real tight. It was
all in the videos.
Yeah,
that part. And then but on a week ago, I mean, not a week ago, but on The World Is Filled, I think Puff kind of found his rhythm in rapping. Like, he really spit a cool little verse. And he was proud of it. And then we're sitting in there A lot of laughing, a lot of smoking, a lot of drinking, a lot of talking, and you know, I wasn't even like writing my verse. I was just like going with the vibe of the session. And Big was laughing and talking with everybody, and doing everything. And the next thing he knows, he's like, "I'm ready to go in the booth." Never touched a pen, never touched a paper. And he went in the booth, and he spit the first line, and he said, take me back. And he said something about how he was going to just flow it in one take. And the next take, he just flowed that whole verse.
Off the top.
I don't know if it was off top. I think they were doing that stuff early on where you you write the rhyme in your brain.
In your head. Yeah, but it was all in his head is what I'm saying.
Like a lot of rappers now are going in there and they're punching in one line at a time. They punch in,
yep.
But these dudes were like literally like memorizing 16s, and they were constructing the 16 in a room full of chaos.
In their mind.
And they could just sit there and just like second line, third line. He spit that. I was like, my feelings were hurt. Like literally, I was in there like, I went to one of my homies that was with me, and I said, "Man, what should I do?" Like literally, like this shit is not fair. So
I'm outmatched.
So my homie P. He know how I am, and he's not a rapper. He's not a music guy, but he's a guy who I used to look to in sessions. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, "Man, what should I say?" And he's a Oakland slick talking motherfucker. He just always had like, "Man, you should say something about that," and I'll just turn that idea into a rap. So he said, "Man, nobody on the song really talked about pimps and hoes, and listen to the hook." So I just wrote my verse. The hook led me into what I should say, and I brought the song home with a story about some pimps and hoes, and just spit some game and stuff, and then told you some stuff in the end, and it worked out.
Yo, it's crazy, man.
But I was hanging on by a thread, man. I was hanging on by a thread when he said, "When the Remy's in the system, ain't no yelling." I'm like, no. What am I gonna say?
What just
that?
happened? Yo, it's crazy just the amount of like history you have. Like,
here's something funny.
Yeah.
Every time, how many rappers have you heard say that line?
A lot.
Every time they say that, I get paid.
That's fire.
Because that's a body of work.
Wait.
He got points on the record.
You're not finna just blow past that. That's crazy.
And people always like running that back. I think Jay-Z, all kind of people. I get a little bitty, tiny little piece.
Little something of that.
Because you got to pay everybody who was around on the song. You got to.
That's
you got to clear that.
Crazy. Yo, it's crazy because like even like just the amount of history you've been around. Like I was put on to Little John through you. You guys had that "Let My Nuts Go" record. Mm-hmm. That's about our third or fourth song. We that was like that was when I heard Little John do that. What the fuck, my ninja? What the fuck? At the end, I was like, I heard you was a jailhouse bitch. I was like, oh, who the fuck is this? But I fucked with the record because you were on it. Me and Little John had a sound for a minute. Like it was a certain sound that we had that was winning. Yo, and that was when you were living in Atlanta, right? I lived in Atlanta. Little John used to DJ around the city. And he used to work for Jermaine Dupri at So Def Records. And I was like an undercover fan of Little John's DJing style. Like I knew about the production, but his production was not really my style. His production was what was his big record? Shorty Swing My Way? Yeah. Shorty Swing My Way. That up-tempo. They called it Booty Shake. The Booty Shake. It was before Crunk. That down south Booty Shake music. So remember they had did the So Def All Stars. Yeah, I had that album. It was like a cartoon cover. I forget who all was the producers in the team that put it together, but Little John was a part of that. So then he made this record, the Who You With, Get Crunk, Who You With. The record was called Who You With. That was his first song as Little John and the East Side Boys. And long after the record was over and was kind of dying down, I went to Little John and asked him, could I do a rap version, because the record only had chants. Right. And it's like break down to the flow, get low. It was just chants. And I'm like, let me put some verses on there. And he was like, nah, that song is old. Let's do something new. And he came with a song called Couldn't Be a Better Player. Ah. And that song was amazing. It just started that whole working relationship between me and Lil Jon. That's how you started that line is how you started the verse for the Let My Nuts Go. You couldn't be a better player than me, even if you fucked every day of the week. It was like part 2. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yo, well, obviously the Pimp Tape is coming out. What like at this point in time in your career, what inspires you to do a new album? Just spitting game, man. Just when people have that dumbass conversation about the youngsters don't sound good and the OGs need to get out the way and all that. And I'm like, man, I just sit on the side and read the comments and listen to the conversation. I'm like, oh, you guys are wrong, because I come from some shit where
there were no rules. Everything they told you couldn't do in hip hop,
You did the
It
opposite
could be
of it.
done.
It
Like
worked.
you can't tell me that. You can't tell me how to get to the fans. I don't need your permission to make a hot record. I don't need the radio. I
mean, and you've been doing a podcast too. You've been out here. Like you've been.
Yeah, I just stay in the mix, man. I cannot tap out the game. I can't.
Bro, I think people sleep on your ventures too, because I mean, I don't want to put your business out there either, but thanks for having us. I got the tour to come down and check out the facility.
Oh yeah.
And you got a stupid compound over there. And you also, I want to give you credit to where it's due. You also fuck with the young, and I feel like you and 40 both do a great job at ushering in new talent.
But that's what I say. It's not even all about you helping somebody like Lil Jon, or you helping a new young artist in the game right now. It's really, and you can ask 40, it's really a lifeline for us.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you wonder why Drake does certain features. That's them lifelines. That ain't Drake blessing them. That's them blessing Drake. And a smart artist knows that.
Makes sense.
If I was Lil Kim, Nicki would have been my best friend.
Facts.
If I'm Nicki, Cardi's my best friend.
40's done a great job at that.
I swear to you, we talk about that all the time, and I was like, why didn't Nicki just embrace Cardi? Like that would have been like,
yeah, my homie. That would have been. Their tour would have been the most magnificent tour
We talk about that
female
too.
rappers ever did.
Oh my God, it'd been crazy. It'd have been historical.
sold out arenas.
I remember back when Foxy and Lil Kim was offered like
Remember they were on the cover of the Source together?
it was like
back in the day.
we'll give y'all $1 million each to make an album. That was like,
Are you serious?
fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
I would have made that album.
What?
Like, yeah, damn right.
And I would have been in the studio saying, "Fuck you, bitch."
Hey, on the pimpin' shit, what other rapper do you respect that spits game like you? Like who's the other who do you hear talking that talk? You know what I mean?
Snoop wears it well.
Okay.
He portrays the image well.
Portrays the image.
I don't
I'm just
think he
saying,
was ever
That's
pimping.
properly
though.
worded.
But no, he wears the look. Snoop could look like a gangbanger.
Oh, for
He could look like
sure.
a pimp. He
I
can
mean,
do it.
Snoop's fucking my grandma's favorite
He can
rapper.
put on
We
a
talking about you being my
tracksuit.
He
dad's
can look like
favorite
a
rapper.
white guy. He can do everything.
He can look like a Rastafarian.
Everything.
All
So-
that, yeah.
But I gotta say, my man Sugar Free.
Sugar Free, I was gonna say, it's gotta
he's
be
in
Sugar
between
Free.
the lines and spits the game.
I saw Sugar Free in Vegas just walking bitches by collars in the hotel. I think you were on that concert actually. It was at Planet Hollywood.
Man, I don't even want to tell you Sugar Free stories. I know I've seen him. He's real.
Yeah, man,
It's
facts.
authentic.
Yeah. So T.I. has the ability to spit a lot of real authentic game. He does it a lot. He varies away from it. And, you know, he got to talk his gangster talk and his knowledgeable talk and all that. But he spit a little pimping. E-40 stays on that pimping.
You've obviously had sex with an extremely insane amount of women. This is kind of what you're known for. Too Short got the bitches.
Hey, shout out to that song, 19,990.
We
DJ
did that song
Head Coat,
together.
you told me that earlier.
Yeah, so that song is a problem too at times because at the wrong time,
Oh.
I'm like dating somebody or something, and her older brother sends her that song. I'm like,
Damn.
Listen to this.
listen to your
First
boyfriend.
of all, realistically, what's the what do you think the number is around? Because I lost count for myself personally.
20,000.
A long time.
Yeah, 20,000 is not an attainable number. That was the Will Chamberlain number.
Right.
We remember the day we made the song. It was
Yeah.
like Will Chamberlain said he had fucked 20,000.
Right. If you had to guess.
So we were in the studio. I was like, I fucked 19,999. If I get one more, I'm on you, Will.
I'm on you, Will.
We was in the studio cracking up that night.
That was funny.
Will Chamberlain was full of shit for the record.
Yeah, because you calculated he would have to have a menage a trois every night for like 20 years straight with no days off.
Him and Ric Flair both full of shit. Ric Flair got a crazy number too.
Ric Flair fucked Halle Berry. Cut it out.
He
did?
He said he did.
Yeah, God damn.
He said he fucked her in Atlanta when she was mad at her boyfriend or her husband or
Get the
something.
fuck out of
Who
here.
must have been David Justice.
Shout out to David Justice
Shout
from
out
the
to
Cleveland
fuck
Indians.
David Justice. Shout out to Ric Flair.
Man,
You shouted the wrong motherfucker.
I saw Ric Flair at a hotel in Texas. We were just hanging out at the bar, and I swear, we just hanging out.
That's
and kicking it.
that's a conversation I would just like to
I watched him meet this lady at the bar, and they walked away to look like when they were going to the room.
just
So
on some
Ric
real
Flair's a
player
player.
shit. In your opinion,
Yes.
I always have these. I love Latinas. In your opinion, out of all the experience with women you've had, which ethnicity has the best box?
Well, you know what's funny about that is because there's a great thing and a terrible thing in every flavor.
Okay.
But if you want to just talk about the greatest of the greatest, like what's the best Latina, the best black, the best white girl, everybody has these features that are like amazing. You know what I mean? Like Like nobody's gonna ride a dick like a Latin girl.
Okay.
West Coast.
Whether if she got Spain in her blood,
She can ride a dick.
Yeah, something about Spain
West
makes you know how to ride a dick. That's no. I'm talking about the.
No, I know. I'm
Miami
just
Spanish,
touching and agreeing.
the
I'm
New
just
York
saying
Spanish,
amen.
The Mexican girls out
listen,
here.
I hear you.
I'm just saying amen. Shout out to Araceli from Long
So
Beach.
we know the
she
strengths
made
of
me
the-
a man when I was 19.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I might have got some of that too. No.
I don't fucking doubt it. So we know the strengths of a Latin woman. What about the strengths of a white girl? Because I'm not into white women personally.
Well, you know what
I
say that like a blowjob to a white girl is like it's like
giving a high five.
It's like a kiss on the cheek or
Like
something.
your dick, sure.
nah.
It's like white girls say they'll give you head before they give you the pussy. They say they give you head before they kiss you in your mouth.
Facts.
That's crazy. I don't know anybody else that say that.
That's true.
So white girls, you know, they know for the sloppy toppy. They like, you know, they kind of like they like that wild, like just kind of. You can abuse them. They like to be abused. Pull my hair and choke me and shit. And you're like, are you sure? And they like,
that's a fact. I mean, I heard.
Asian girls are very attentive. They after you nut, they go to the bathroom and get this really hot towel.
Like a massage parlor.
They lay it on your balls and your dick, and they pet it. And sometimes they give you head. They like. It's like a dick worship kind of thing. So it's very ego stroking.
I've had that.
Very ego stroking.
God bless to all the Asian women I've been with. What about the sisters?
You got to be careful with black girls because you'll get hypnotized by the booty. Some of them that got that ass.
Yep.
And then a lot of black girls got that just red snapper, just pussy that just will fucking, you know, like the movie with Sunshine. What was that? Harlem Nights. What movie was that? Harlem Nights. When she said, he called and said, "Honey, I ain't coming home no more."
Oh, ruin your household type.
Yeah, that's that. They put that shit on.
I told a girl that before. That I was like, "You'll fuck my life up. Like I got to stop fucking with you."
Yeah,
we was butt ass naked. I told her in the hotel.
And then back to the Latin girls with the waking up at 3 a.m. on top of you, pissed off. I don't know what the fuck are you mad at.
They're crazy. I mean, my fiance is Mexican. She's insane.
We just went to bed and everything was peaceful, and you just woke up in the middle of the night pissed about what?
My girl just got mad. I was on Instagram Live, and some chick was like, "I'm listening to you right now," and I was like, "Hey, shout out to Michaela." And my girl happened to tune in and hear me just say, she texted me, "Who the fuck is Michaela? You want to die tonight?" I'm like, "Yo." I swear to God.
I do radio for a living.
I swear to God.
That's crazy.
This is the text I got.
What's the wildest story like you've had where somebody has like been upset with you, or a woman? Like,
you guys left out one special breed.
What
very special. Those girls from India.
Shouts to Bangladesh.
You know what I'm saying?
With the
I've had a few.
With the Kama Sutra touch and all that stuff, man. There's some of them they can make you have a good night.
I had a nice run in Vegas, man. I got to kind of taste a lot of different flavors.
You're engaged.
The Persians.
Middle Eastern women are a movie.
You're engaged.
What's the Kim Kardashian? What is she?
She's our
Armenians and the Persians. Boy, I tell you, they hit you with them round booties. Wow. What was you saying?
Well, I was saying, what's the story you got where something went wrong?
You said a girl was like super mad at me.
Yeah, she was mad at you.
I had a night where I was having fun with his friends. They were all friends, and I guess in my mind I was like, "Yeah, I'm fucking these girls," but in their mind they were like, "Yeah, we fucking him." They were taking turns on me.
Wait, how many?
It was like 3 or 4. 4 of them. I think it was 4, and it was just like, I'd be with her, then we chill, and then she'd be like, "You want some of that?" And basically, I got down to the last condom.
You got to take a Viagra that day?
I'm a young dude, man.
I got to ask because that's a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Not yet taking the Viagra yet, so I haven't done the pills yet. So when I need them, I'm gonna take them. But until I need them, I'm not doing it.
I got you.
So you got down to the last
condom, and I was getting ready. You know, old girl gave me some head because it was hard. Even I didn't even want no more. I'm done.
I'm
tapped out.
Yeah,
it probably was a Molly night or something. I don't know what it was. I don't know, but I'm done. And she like brings it back one more time. Bam. I'm like, okay, go. I put the thing on, and another girl jumps in like to give it to me. And old girl was like, "Shit, I ain't giving it to you. I'm the one that got it hard." And they really just had a little argument, and I had to pick one. I picked one, and the other one got mad at me. And I'm like, that's some fucked up shit. We've been doing this all night. And this ends up, I thought it was a beautiful thing. But yeah, at the time, I thought that I was doing that. And then I thought back some years later, I was like, you know what, that night, they probably went home and said they ran a train on me.
Oh,
They gang banged me, man.
They gangbanged you, bro.
on the low.
They me too your
there's
ass.
there's no pride in that, man. I don't even, that's why it's a bad story.
Any like idea of like I feel like if you were to do a movie about your life or even like a series with some of your stories, that'd be something like that'd be an amazing Netflix series or a Netflix original. Is that something that you've ever explored?
Yeah, it has to be done a certain way because you can't ignore.
I mean, Roxanne Shante got a story on Netflix, and I mean, obviously, I feel like your story would be.
You can't ignore the business side. You can't ignore the explicit side. You can't ignore the sex page. You can't ignore the longevity of the career. It's a lot of things. The come up was a great story. It's a lot of elements to the Too Short story, and people you might just want one version of it, but I think it's a great story when you put it all together.
You think it'll be more of a movie or a miniseries?
You couldn't tell Too Short story in the movie. You couldn't tell NWA's story in the movie. They
did
worked
a good
it out.
job, but they figured it out.
Yeah, a lot of people.
How do you feel about the biopics? Do you feel?
Well, if you know
the real
person, and if you were there in the room, the stories they're trying to tell, it didn't happen like that. But you got to tell a great story. I personally like Tupac's movie. I get what everybody was saying about. They were comparing it to NWA, and then people talking about the angles of the camera and the lighting and stuff. I'm like,
I thought the actor did a good job. I really thought that motherfucker was Tupac.
I liked the movie for one reason only. I felt good when I watched that movie because they kept playing Tupac songs, and I saw it in a theater where it was loud and clear, and it was like I got it. I'm like, I don't care about if Jada Pinkett didn't really say that.
Right. You ain't thinking about that when you watch the movie.
It didn't happen like that. I don't endorse it, but it's Tupac's story. That was your homeboy. What are you talking about?
On the flip side, though. She has a right to feel how she feel about her role in it. Just like if somebody was to do an E-40 biopic and they portrayed you a certain way, you might feel some kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Just like Tupac in the Biggie movie, coming in out clowning and stuff. Yeah. Tupac act like that every now and then, but that wasn't how he act all the time.
Right.
What was you and 40's relationship like in the early 90s?
Well, we come from the same.
Because I feel like you guys hit your stride at like working relationship wise, like later.
Well, in the early days, nobody collaborated.
Right.
There was no such thing as collaborations. That was very rare that you would have somebody guest appear on your
Wasn't there like some
album.
issue or something at a KML show or something?
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff. But me and 40 come from the same. I'm trying to find the right word. It's like
class.
No, like the same dope sack.
Okay.
The same dope dealers. Our close circle sold drugs together back in the day.
Copy.
So,
allegedly.
No, they really did.
Statute of limitations, it doesn't matter.
All right, for sure.
And I mean, he only raps about it on every
No,
song.
I know. I got you. Go ahead.
Back in the day, I sold a lot of dope. Like he says it a lot. So yeah. So excuse me. D-Shot, E-40, my close homies. They were all like a crew.
Mm-hmm.
And they I wouldn't necessarily say they were the same crew, but they were allies, and that would spill over to the hangout moments. So back when we were rappers and things were changing, like we were turning into businessmen and stuff as legitimate, but I never sold drugs, but at the same time, I only hung out with drug dealers during those years, and we hung out a lot. Like our crews would meet up. Oakland dudes and Vallejo dudes always had this sort of, Bay Area brotherhood, and I was cool with Mac Dre, all of them back in the day. I spent a lot of time in Vallejo back in the day.
I feel like your guys' music back then was very different.
And the radio station, so you say it sounds like West Coast, but I can distinctively hear the sound of what comes from Dr. Dre versus what comes from Too Short versus what came from E-40.
I feel like the Short and the 40 sound was just really different back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
he made what they call mob music.
Mob music. You were making the player shit.
Had a lot of more sounds in my stuff, and then my shit was a lot smoother with chords and more singing and stuff. And I would try to make it, like a real bluesy kind of. But we all are clones of Dr. Funkenstein. We all got it from George Clinton.
Yo, man.
But what brought me and 40, what got us really close as artists was the KMEL radio station thing that went bad that day with the it's a whole long story about the Loonies and the song they dissed me on and the radio station playing the song and me being offended by them supporting the song that dissed me, and then they took a stand that, well, you moved to Atlanta, so you ain't got no say so. And then they did the big show that they would always either call me for to be on or always support. KMEL was a rock and roll station, heavy metal. With their logo was the camel, and it was the cigarettes, the camel, the Soners, just straight heavy metal. And they switched over to hip hop and R&B one day. and it wasn't taken lightly. It wasn't just the people didn't just like, oh, new radio station. They were dedicated to the other station, 107.7 KSOL. So Cameo got with people like me and did stuff with us and got this little good rapport going with the community and made the transition. And I felt like based on that alone, you can't give somebody a platform to diss me. Like you can't. You can play their songs. They can make the song, but you can't play that song.
If anything, edit that part out.
The truth was the whole time that there was a moment in time in the studio where the Loonies felt a certain way and they said it on the song. The song wasn't a diss song for Short Dog, but it was a line that they felt like they was mad at the moment they said it. But in the midst of saying that, we were still homies. We were still from the same crew. We were still the dude who put the money up for the Loonies to come out was my homie. That was my homie Chris Hicks. It was part of our crew and that Dangerous crew. And then even like when Drew Down came out, Drew Down made his whole album at my studio for free. So that's how much of a crew we were. And all I was asking Cameo to do was I asked him to bring me out on stage and bring the Loonies on stage at the same time and let's just tell the crowd
we're good.
It's all love right here. It's from Oakland, because Oakland rappers wasn't beefing with each other. Not then. It wouldn't have been. And if they were, it wouldn't have been handled on records.
Right.
In music, it would have been
Some real shit.
We would have just dealt with it like not like violent, but we would have been like face to face or however it was.
Figured it out.
Yeah. So Cameo wouldn't do that, and then some stuff happened backstage. The stuff that is out there is I love the rumors because they all make me out to be like a villain, and it really didn't go down like that. But at the same time, Cameo took a stand and they decided to play jokes and like scandalize the thing. And they tried to play a joke where they had a fake caller called a radio station on Monday morning, and it was supposed to be me, and the fake me was talking shit about E-40. And they really, a radio station tried to instigate a war between rappers who really have gangsters in their crew.
Wow.
And that was
very irresponsible.
40 called my phone. It would have went straight to shit if we weren't friends already.
If y'all didn't have a communication already.
So 40 called my phone before the radio show even went off, and he was like, "Did you just call the radio station?" I was like, half asleep. I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "So you telling me you didn't just call the radio station?" Sam, I was like, "Wasn't me, bruh." And that's all he had to say. Like we that real with each other. And he was like, all right. And then I guess he simmered on it for the day. And, because what happened was 40 didn't get to perform that night.
Wow.
And he had bought a special stage set. He had built something special for that night. And Cameo trying to, not let me have my way with just the informing the crowd that it's all love over here. They shut it down because they was, supposedly scared of what I would do. So, man, it was bullshit. But that song, the song "Rappers Ball," love the way you play us ball. That's what we made. Instead of going to war, we made that song, and then from there we made a lot of songs.
Damn.
And
Of course.
I don't even know. We weren't as close as we were. We used to talk. Our relationship back then was we were on the same label, Jive Records, and me and 40 we would never drop albums at the same time. It was always a little bit off.
On purpose?
No, it was just the cycle we were on. And he would always my album would be out doing what it do, everything, and then he would call me or see me somewhere, or somehow he'd be playing songs for me that's about to come out, his new album. I'm like, whoa, I'm riding high, and I'm like, God damn, this about to put this shit out. So then when his album would come out, I'd get in the lab. And I'd make sure I just call 40 and be like, listen to this one, listen to this one, listen to this one. And I really felt like it was a competition. I really felt like I'm trying to outdo this dude, as well as, because he keep coming with these bangers that's just taking over the bay. And then I got to come, he's taking over. And I'm like, I got to come back with one that's going to take over. So basically, I really, truly believe that a partner like that, a friend like that, who's also competing with you is a great thing,
It's
man.
a healthy thing.
That's a good sparring.
I mean, it made for long careers.
Fact.
It really did, because it's I trying to outdo E-40 in the Bay.
Even now, my man's dropping a triple album. I feel like every year it's God damn.
40 is somewhere in the studio rapping right now.
Right now.
That's nuts.
Right now, he got about 100 songs that haven't been released. All kind of stuff. So me and 40 got I'd say we might have about somewhere between 10, 20 songs that never been released that we recorded.
That you guys are just sitting on.
They just sound hot. It's just you just make so much music, things slip through the cracks. He always hit me up saying, "Hey, shoot me a verse for this new project." I'm like, "Bro, go on your computer
and just grab one of the old ones. You got
Go
verses.
on your computer.
Hey, Blow the Whistle, one of the biggest club songs ever. You know, you just got brought out to perform it with Drake, which was cool. Is that a song you're tired of performing?
No. You as an artist, you have these signature songs, and they really keep the phone ringing. So
that's one.
I love that you look at it like that.
When you have an artist who, I don't know, if you Chubby Checkers and you did the twist, why would you hate singing the twist? That's the only reason why they calling you.
I mean, plus you got the new record with John Hart. That's kind of like a playoff of Blow the Whistle.
Shout out to John Hart. That shit's hard.
Yeah, that record's nice too. We just did a remix with Juelz Santana.
Juelz Santana, yep.
Juelz Santana shot the video in New York.
Dipset.
Hey, so songs like that though, they do that song in particular did a wonderful thing for me. It actually started a new income stream for me. Like literally, ever since that song came out, I've been getting hired to do things where they just like, no, just sing one song. And I made up a new thing in my hustle. I was like, if you pay me half of what I really want to do a whole show, pay me half, I'll come out and do Blow the Whistle and maybe Shake That Monkey. Maybe I'll throw in Getting It, maybe.
That's crazy.
That's
it's
fire.
Like a little
a little mini set.
10.
Hey,
you see me do it?
Yeah, of course.
I DJ'd it.
Yeah.
Hey, when Jay-Z rapped over Blow the Whistle, that freestyle was crazy. Did you know
it gave the record new legs?
But when did you know he was hopping on the beat beforehand?
I'm the one who sent it to him.
Okay.
He was mad about remember he was like going to the LeBron games.
Yep.
LeBron
It was the
in
LeBron
Cleveland.
thing and Deshaun Stevenson.
LeBron was gonna make the decision soon. Jay-Z had just they built the stadium.
Yeah, I remember all
and
of
he
this.
became a part owner
of the Nets.
And he was trying to get LeBron.
Yeah,
that was his homie.
That's my
so
LeBron.
Somebody that played for the Wizards.
It was Deshaun Stevenson.
He played for the Wizards.
Yeah, it was Deshaun Stevenson. Yeah.
And he said he talked some trash on LeBron going into the playoffs, and Jay was like,
"Oh, got at him."
He like Big Brother was gonna get his back, and basically, I don't even know if it served that purpose. If that was like a diss verse for dude or whatever, but all it did for me was it made Blow the Whistle take off in New York, and it took off all over the East Coast, and it really just, the record was solid, and he just made it just put the icing on the cake. It was just,
bro. I feel like your record, Shake That Monkey, is just, to me, it does the same thing to women as Back That Ass Up. Like it just turns women.
Yeah, there's songs. There's another song, Future Wicked.
Wicked, yeah.
When
that song was out, I used to say, I used to tell DJs, play that song for me so I can see who the hoes are in the club.
Bro, no, on some real shit. I mean, Wicked is cool. Shake That Monkey,
it brings it out.
It do something to women, bro. I've seen the most classy women with their heels and they sipping their little wine, sipping wine in the club, and that song come on and it's over.
It's a rap.
You know something about my career? That's the craziest thing is that I've tried my hardest to like when I'm making raunchy songs to like really go deep, like damn near like porno music or something. And lawyers and doctors, all these upscale chicks are like, I just love Too Short. Like, I don't know what.
Hey, man, you're a national treasure. Too Short is a national treasure.
I know,
man.
but I don't know why, like, really decent, square chicks.
I know why my dad fucks with your shit, because my dad's like low key a perv. Like, I know this about my pops. And my dad like just couldn't stop talking about Blowjob Betty, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, it's Too Short. I've been knowing about Too Short. Like, he's fire. Like, yeah. Like one day he like for a summer he used to be a video camera dude for like horse racing, and he came back from Maryland after being, hey, you know this Too Short guy? I'm like, of course. Blowjob Betty? I'm like, yeah. But anyway, yo, Short, the new album's coming out. When's the album come out? Tomorrow. The Pimp Tape.
Friday, whatever this week. It's out. I'll give you a copy right now, whatever.
Yo, the Pimp Tape is out, man. It's good to see you still making music and still having an impact on the culture.
Yeah, and the one thing I do want to say is that I'm not one of those OG rappers. You're like, oh, the OG made an album. And then you like 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, he made an album. Oh, okay. And no, I didn't just make an album. I made a lot of songs. So basically, I'm actually it's about a 4-album package deal that's coming out a couple of months after the Pimp Tape, and I've been leaking out these songs all year long. I leaked out a mixtape called Hella Disrespectful, which featured all Bay Area artists, like new young artists. And I did another little teaser playlist called the Sex Tape. So then the theory was I dropped the mixtape, then I sneak out the Sex Tape. It only had 11 songs on it. We didn't really do a lot of promo. We just put it out there just to get the energy going. Then the Pimp Tape comes out now, and then you get to buy all of them in one big collective, and there's a bonus album called The Last Tape.
Oh, wow.
And it's The Last Tape was initially titled The Lost Tape, but then somebody else just dropped one called that.
Yes.
Ghostface or somebody.
Yeah, Ghostface Killer, and then Nas obviously got Lost Tapes, yeah.
So I changed it to The Last Tape, and you get this big cassette tape thing and all this stuff in the box.
So you still pushing the hard joints.
But the Last Tape is really, I listened to the Pimp Tape, and it's the one I put work in on. But The Last Tape is it's like all these too short, funky ass songs that really didn't make the album. And if you listen to the Pimp Tape and go, you like one of them 1990s stuck on pause motherfuckers, just hold tight. When you get The Last Tape,
you're gonna fuck with it.
Yeah, it's what you want.
That's what you want.
It's all, I'm feeding all the too short fans what they need. We got some Booty Shake on there. I got some some up to date sound and stuff. I got some young artists, some OG artists, and and then I'm just gonna bring it all home with this really funky, grimy ass too short album. And then after that, I'm probably gonna drop 50 singles one at a time.
One at a time.
Jesus.
Hey, real quick, before you go, do you think that there should be, because the homie Freddie Gibbs just came back and he had a bunch of allegations. I know you had.
I know Freddie.
So you had some allegations too. Do you feel like, and I asked him too, you feel like it should be repercussions to people that make false allegations, especially a sexual nature and shit like that?
I think that's going to come into play real soon because it's obviously it had some sort of bandwagon element to it. You can't really downplay because I had to get educated on really what women are going through because of what came my way.
Fact.
And I had to step to the other side and not just realize, even though mine was false allegations and, people kind of, the TMZ made it seem like it was a criminal case or something, but it was never, ever anything criminal. And the only reason why it even got newsworthy is because based on the fact that it wasn't criminal, she filed a civil lawsuit on me. Yeah. So then they ran with that story and they were still trying to word that like it was some kind of crime. Yeah. But it didn't go down like that. But I just think that that you can't really, I learned that you can't really downplay it because you saying, okay, well, I didn't pin her down, try to rape her. But there's so many things that we've been doing over the years that in the workplace that just hanging around our female friends that we just say these dirty jokes and we just do this stuff. And we have been rude. As men, we have been rude overall. And I like that the playing field is getting a little
more even.
I like that people are on their toes at the workplace now. It's probably been a lot of uncomfortable females. They got to go to work and hear about their ass and they can't even wear your titties out because some pervert office is going to stare, So I think that it's good for what we're doing now, but we really got to weed out the phonies and the fakes. It really hurts my feelings to know that the young homies now they got to have chicks signing non-disclosure agreements at the door.
The thing now.
Coming in, you got to check your phone and your purse. You can't bring your phone in the house. It's what is it with this phone and these cameras? Man, put it away and enjoy life. But it's too late.
Yeah, facts.
It's too late. Nobody wants to enjoy life because now you have to photograph your fake life and post it like your fake life is really popping.
Yeah.
And instead of just being...
Yeah.
That's true, man.
If we stop faking on social media and everybody start being real, social media might be dope. If we just really lived our soap operas out.
I feel like it started like that.
Fuck your best life.
Yeah, I'm out here, man. I'm on the bus. I'm on the bus.
Don't follow me on social media. Follow me in real life. Let's go somewhere.
Well, Short, we appreciate you coming, man. The album is out. Go support it. The Pimp Tape. And, thank you, man. Thank you for the time.
Lot more to come.
Lot more to come.
West
Too short.
Coast.
Boom.